Marathon, Bungie's coolest IP. With only a few months to go till launch, Marathon is set to release in early March of this year with a weekend playtest before launch. This is an excellent time to get into Marathon, and I really hope to see you all on Tau Ceti. In Marathon, we get to play as a runner, but this isn't a hero shooter kind of runner. These are more archetypes akin to Destiny classes, if you're familiar. The shell is a tool that the runner uses to do what they need to on Tau Ceti 4. Each shell has its own unique traits and are distinct enough from each other to be recognized at a distance. This is good for encounters because based on which shell you're up against, you'll know what to expect after a little practice, I'm sure. I also like this change to move away from the hero shooter aspect because it personalizes the game for me. There's only so much immersion that can be had when I'm playing out a character's story that potentially isn't representational of me. This isn't a problem, but I'd much rather have an immersive experience that I can ascribe my own meaning to than watch our hero's story unfold week to week. Especially in a live service game. The more immersed I feel in the world, the more likely I am to stay in it. And thankfully, Marathon's new art style is captivating enough for me. The gameplay is just a bonus. The game is so striking in so many ways, and as somebody who spent the last 10 years playing Destiny, I'm excited to try out a new shooter from Bungie. Now, a brief history lesson with a skippable timestamp if you already know this stuff. Okay, now that all the nerds are gone, the original Marathon game came out in 1994 and is in the genre of Doom clone boomer shooter. The main difference being is that OG Marathon has mouse aiming and Doom doesn't. Neat. In Marathon, you navigate through the titular Marathon and over the course of the trilogy encounter vast alien worlds and mind-bending plots that span multiple timelines. Even with dated gameplay, the game's story still holds up to this day. It's the best sci-fi you could ever ask for, and I couldn't recommend it enough. I've always seen traces of Marathon's influence in all of Bungie's works, and I love the ties that the franchise has to Pathways into Darkness. I'm excited that this IP is getting a second chance to impress the masses. The original game really feels like a sleeper hit, almost as if the hype for this game has been in cryo storage since the 90s. With that said, the revival takes a different approach to its gameplay. Instead of a Doom clone, Marathon is now an extraction shooter. This is a big change up from what was at one time considered peak, and I hope that it continues that legacy. Although I don't have much experience in the genre, I was fortunate enough to take part in the December play test for Marathon. I'd been trying to get into the test ever since April of last year, and last December, it finally worked. The test is still under NDA, so I can't show any footage, but I would like to share some thoughts that I can share. Without breaking NDA, all I can say is this. I'm excited for launch. The playtest was the most fun I had playing a video game all of 2025. This posed as an issue though because in April, when Bungie revealed Marathon in its alpha state, I was impressed. And despite the criticism, very valid criticism, no other game has been able to satisfy me since Marathon's reveal. And even more so after the December playtest. Now that I've played, I can't get enough. I can't think of a game that has captivated me like this before. Maybe the original Marathon for its story? But that's a modest guess at best. It was such an honor to be a part of something that feels so cutting edge. Nothing could compare to the things that I experienced with my brief time on Tau Ceti 4. I wish I could share those stories with you, but there are other runs to be had and better loot to be scavenged. I want to thank Bungie for choosing me for that playtest, I hope you enjoyed my feedback and that it was helpful. And on a personal note, I can't wait to run again. I had a lot of fun. And even though I'm not the best runner on Tau Ceti 4, it was just a lot of fun, and I can't wait for the next run. Now, with that out of the way, I want to focus on one of the playable runner shells that Bungie showcased recently, Destroyer. Destroyer's kit includes an updated Mjolnir-style armor, very similar to the security officer from the original trilogy. Equipped with thrusters, an energy shield, and impressive offensive missiles, this shell is everything that it says on the tin. Destroyer. Destroyer will draw aggro from enemies and allow teams to push objectives to win engagements. In other words, they're the tank class. They can hold objectives, push enemies, and overall dominate the battlefield. And while a shell overview is warranted, that's not the focus of today's video. I want to focus on the runner cinematic for Destroyer. Not just a breakdown, but a look at one of the most impressive details that I could find that perfectly conveys everything that Marathon is about. It starts off like any Bungie cinematic. Grand landscape with a person in the middle ground staring at something in the background. Hype and aura, you know the drill. This is totally giving Halo Reach Exodus vibes, and I'm here for it. Destroyer is watching a team exfil in the distance. This is interesting because in all previous cinematics, Destroyer has been in a team, and this is the first time that we see them on a solo run. Perhaps they were with a team and are watching their teammates extract because they decided to stay to get more loot. Anything's possible. What do you think? After watching the blue light shoot up into the sky, Destroyer approaches the entrance to what looks like an old Warmind bunker from Destiny. The cinematic is impressive for a number of reasons. The first being the implication of a snowy map. This is really exciting because Bungie has spoke extensively about the heat mechanic, which limits runners' movements and acts as an in-game stamina meter. So the idea of being able to run on a map where stamina might not be an issue will dramatically change runner tactics for that map. I'm excited. Going back to Destroyer, we see what the community is referring to as an artifact. Though I don't know the significance of artifacts, I must say that the design is like everything in this game. Really cool. The artifact is guarded by a UESC robot, and given the size and amount of firearms it seems to have, I assume this is one of the heavier infantry units. In the most aura-farming moment of the cinematic, we see Destroyer envisioning a potential outcome if they choose to try for the artifact. Faced with what might be a fiery death, they charge headfirst down a corridor before ending on their shell name. Destroyer's fiery standoff, hands down, farms the most aura. But a detail I want to focus on is Destroyer's trepidation after the vision. Once the fire subsides, you can briefly see Destroyer's hand do a small twitch. To me, this action conveys a sense of dread, almost as if to say, with a sigh, okay, let's do this. I know what's gonna happen to me if I mess up, but I'm still gonna try. This really highlights those tense feelings that Bungie has been angling for with this game, and to see this reinforced through the cinematic is really powerful. I can almost feel Destroyer's fear with that subtle hand motion. Their hopes of winning the altercation and returning home with loot is conveyed perfectly. No words need to be spoken in this cinematic. The way their hand twitches implies this isn't their first run, and they aren't strangers to an unsuccessful one. It's subtle, but it's there. The runner previously got messed up, and despite that, they're still willing to risk themselves for loot. Bungie has said that death is the first step for runners, and based on Destroyer's reaction, I get the feeling that they're about to take that first step yet again. All of that conveyed through one hand motion. Tau Ceti is dangerous, but exciting. It's scary to potentially lose all of your loot, but the thought of getting better loot can be such a motivating force. My advice is to take it slow, because this isn't a sprint, it's marathon. Thank you for watching.